Hi, Steve Casey, seller of stuff. It's been a while since I've done a video, and even longer since I've done a story time with Steve. So that's what today's topic is: selling Porsches in the mid-90s. This is going to have a ton of profanity in it. Not so much mine, but from a few of the examples that I'm going to show you. And if you can't deal with it, I mean a lot of profanity, then don't comment, don't say anything, just move on. See you next time. I was selling in a brand new store that got built just for us because we were doing so well. And this facility was the slickest, coolest thing in the world. So said Porsche of Germany. Anyway, we all looked like this. They had mirrored windows, and we could see out from the showroom, but the customers couldn't see in. Plus, we had all the cool cars kind of lined up front on a pad, and they looked great because they were all mirrored. So it was Saturday morning. This is a couple of events that happened over a 10-day period, the way I remember it. Pretty much the baseball guy. There was 4 salesmen. One of us was a baseball guy. I got all the baseball players. Another guy got football players, basketball players, and so on. So I really didn't have very much luck with football players because A, I didn't even know who the hell they were, and B, they just, I don't know, there was just something about them. Baseball players are a lot quicker and a lot sharper to deal with, I guess. This vehicle pulls up, something very similar to this. It is 10:30 in the morning. There are 4 huge human beings in this vehicle, this Jeep. It had canvas doors, if you remember that style back in. It's 10:30 on a Saturday morning. These guys open up the doors and they pile out, and they're huge. I mean, I'm a big guy, but each one of these guys is over 6'3". All of them are close to 300 pounds, except the leader, the driver, 6'5", 320 pounds. Very menacing looking people. They opened up the doors, and I mean, a ton of empty beer cans just hit the pavement. It was hilarious. The other salesman who had been hanging around waiting for people to come in, all of a sudden I looked up in the showroom. There was nobody there except me to take care of them. These guys got out. They walked right to a car that was just spectacular. Started pulling on the door handle, started looking towards the mirrored windows, like, is somebody going to help me? You know, anyway, I go, oh, God, all right, this is a great way to start the day. They're all beer cans in their hand, cigarettes in the other hand. They turned out to be football players. But the one guy I was dealing with, the biggest guy, as soon as I opened the door to walk towards him, which was 20 feet, he says, "Where you been, motherfucker?" I walked up to him and I went, "Oh, there's 2 ways to play this." And I said, I have been watching 4 apparently drinking men get out of their vehicle and start yanking on my $100,000 car. So I went and got the key, because that's what you're going to ask when I open this car. And they all kind of stepped back a little bit and they went, "Well, yeah." I went, "Okay." But before I open this car, I will tell you right now, we are not going for a test drive. You have been drinking, sir, and we're not going to drive it. You're not going to drive it. I'm not even going to drive it. He says to me, "You don't think I can buy this car?" I said, "I didn't say that. You're drinking alcohol, man. I can't let you drive it." "I'll prove it. Go here. Let me tell you who I am. I said, wait a minute. Back then, you had a credit app, and all smart salesmen put a credit app in their back pocket. Because when you got this kind of person, you said, okay, there's the car. There's the credit app. Tell me who you are. And he tells me. 5 lines, name, address, info, who he works for. Okay? I run in. The finance manager has been watching this whole thing go down. He says, you know what that is? I said, I assume he's a football player and he plays for this team on the West Coast. He goes, yeah, he just signed a $10 million contract. We were in Atlanta and this guy was playing for a West Coast team. I said, okay. Pull his bureau. He can buy anything he wants. Go back to him and say, you can buy anything you want, sir. Come on inside. So they come inside. Public buildings had just gone over to no smoking inside. I pulled out an ashtray, put it on my desk, because I had one that paper clips and crap in it. Looked just like this. And he said, well, what are you going to sell me that thing for? I mean, we hadn't even opened a car yet. I said, $104,000. That's what it says on the sticker. It's a very special car. There's only 500 made in North America. I ain't paying $104,000. I said, well, we can't do business then. Come on, motherfucker. Now, he wasn't being abusive. This is just part of his normal rhetoric. And I said, look, every time, I'm not a motherfucker. Every time you call me a motherfucker, it's going to cost you $100. And they cracked up. They thought that was hilarious. Turns out he called me a motherfucker 60-something more times. But I didn't charge him. But he did pay the whole $104,000. Now, again, this guy hasn't even been in the car, doesn't know anything about what this car is. He walks into the financial manager, looks over, it was Mother's Day or a weekend, and he says, I got to give some flowers to my old lady. Finance manager says, okay, here you go. And finance manager's wife didn't get flowers that weekend because he gave it to him. So all of a sudden the guy walks out, he's got all these signed papers, hasn't even been in the car, and he says, how are you going to get it to me? And I says, I'll send it to you, but, I'll have somebody drive it over, which we did. So he was a happy guy. Excuse me. The whole entire time I saw a kid in the corner watching me and watching how I handle these guys. And I thought this kid was like a football fan and wanted an autograph or something. I mean, he was young, a t-shirt and baggy basketball pants. He was a kid. But I did see a car title hanging out of his pocket. So we strike up a conversation while they're doing the paperwork. I said, what are you here for? And he says, I'm here for you. I want to buy this car. Another vehicle that was sitting on the showroom floor. I said, okay, man, but, it might be a while. He says, I don't care. You're my guy. I said, no problem. So I take care of the football player. And the kid says, and he doesn't tell me who he is, but he's a record producer. And I mean, he's young, early 20s young. And turns out he's pretty famous, even though I didn't know anything about him. And he wants to buy this car. Now, this is literally, it's a Porsche America Roadster. I didn't know that, I could even sell this car. There was only like a couple of hundred made and I had a deposit on everything. But it turns out it was for sale. So I said, okay, what do you got in mind? Pulls out his title. He says, I'll give you my car for this car. I said, okay, let's go look at your car. Had all that money, had a title, had the right demeanor, and had a $150,000 car at the time. This was the big Mercedes engine. Very exclusive ride. Very cool. So I said, after that deal was done, I owe you money. Because your car's more valuable than this $120,000 America Roadster. His car was like, a couple of months old. He said, really? I said, yeah. I said, I can't get a check cut today, but I can bring it to you on Monday. So he said, that'd be great. So we did, and just about everybody that he did produce an album with, as a bonus, got a Porsche from me. I love this kid. About a week later, and this is all I remember about this guy, I mean, physically, he pulls up in this old beater car. Again, it's a Saturday morning. And he's got the worst suit in the world on. I mean, ill-fitting, just doesn't, looks like it belongs to another person. He just, borrowed it. And he walks right in, and we're all busy, but I remember glancing at this guy. And the one salesman that nobody gets along with and really despises, he's lazy, he's stupid, he's conniving, he's, I don't know what. So he gets him. The salesman says, yes, sir, how can I help you? And he says, I want to buy this car. It was a 928. They had discontinued the vehicle. It was, again, over $100,000. This particular vehicle, our owner was so tired of looking at it. It had been in inventory for a year and several months. He said, whoever sells this vehicle can have all the profit. This car had $15,000 profit in it. He says, I don't care what you sell it for, I'll give you a $10,000 commission. So naturally, the salesman's eyes light up. And I mean, this had been a piece of furniture. We didn't even pay attention anymore. And all of a sudden, he's got a hot prospect on it. And it's the guy we all hate. And we're all sitting there going, oh my God, can you believe this, man? He's going to make $10,000, $15,000 in his own pocket. They walk around it. They pull it out. He drives it. Guy says, I'll take it. He says, okay, let's go do the paperwork. Guy writes a check. Turns out this guy worked for the IRS, literally worked for the IRS. He says, I can't take delivery on it today. The money, I got to shuffle some money around on Monday. And, give me till like 2 o'clock. Salesman says, no problem, sir. I'll be sitting right here, door's locked, and a big bow on it. Monday comes around, a little bit after 2 o'clock. Finance manager, all the paperwork's been done. Finance manager starts talking to the guy. Salesman's sitting there, he's been gloating all weekend. He didn't wait on anybody else. Been gloating the whole weekend. And he's kind of hovering around the outside of the door just to hear what happens, because the sales guy says, let's take a look at this check. And all of a sudden the salesman walks around the corner and we all see him, and he's got this look on his face. And we all know that this deal's not going to go down, because he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and that's what he looks like. The finance manager says, sir, the check's no good. How would you like to handle this? Would you like to finance it or whatever? The guy with a straight face, and we found this out later, looked at the finance manager and said, I talked to God, and God assured me that the funds would be in the bank, that I was to go ahead and write the check because the check is good. The finance manager with a straight face said, did God tell you it was going to be good by 2 o'clock on Monday? Needless to say, the man has some serious mental problems. But the thing that stuck out to me was not only the bad car and the bad clothes. The guy worked for the IRS. Scary. So there was no Bank of God. There was no $12,000 commission. And that's okay because nobody liked this guy anyway. And hopefully the customer was okay mentally and got some help. Okay, that's it. I talked too long and I speeded it up. So next time we'll talk about reselling. And thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.